I'm here today to talk to you about the power of heart-brain coherence. On our website, I have a very in-depth teaching about that, but today what I'm going to do is just model for you the way that you can bring your heart and your mind into perfect synchronicity and perfect unity. In the very beginning, when we were created with our spirit on the outside as a totally light being. When the fall of man occurred, which, by the way, had less to do with what he did than by the fact that he lost a position, that light went inside and took position in our heart. And our soul, which is represented by our mind, took the governing position at that point. Ever since then, we have been ruled by our thoughts, by our mind, by our will, by our emotions, which all find their place in our brain. So, if we're going to tap into perfect health and the restoration of immortality, the first thing we have to do is figure out how can we allow our spirit to take back the primary governing force over our mind. Yeshua came to restore and redeem our whole person, body, soul, and spirit. In the age of the church, we were ruled mostly by our carnal nature and our carnal thought. That means that probably 90% of the things we did driven by the force of performance. When we come into the age of the kingdom, our whole purpose then is to take back our primordial position so that that spirit of light can again gain control over our soul, our mind, our will, and our emotions. So today, I'm going to talk to you about how to do that, and then we're going to model it. Number one of the things that science has proven by testing 5,000 people medically on magnetic resonance machines, which can tap into the coloring of the brain patterns, they have discovered that 75% of all of the thoughts of human beings are negative, and 95% of them are repetitive. What that means is we tend to think the same thing today as we did yesterday, and the same thing yesterday as we did the day before, and the same thing the day after that we did the day before, because our thoughts are repetitive. Therefore, when we take a thought, even spiritual, even religious thoughts become very repetitive and they become habitual. So, part of our purpose is to break the habitual patterns of thinking that produce negativity in our thoughts and the idea of repetition. How we do that is many faceted. Number one, we have to take captive of every thought. The word says, take captive every thought to the obedience of Christ Jesus, casting down all vain imaginations, every high thing that exalts itself against the honor of the Father. How do you take captive every thought when we have 60,000 thoughts a day? That's proven scientifically. So, how do we do that? Number one, we have to investigate our own inner thoughts. Wherever we have negativity, anger, bitterness, resentment, fear of failure, fear of calamity, fear of sickness, bitterness, unforgiveness, which is the biggest thing that keeps us from causing our heart and our mind to come into perfect unity, and that's unforgiveness. Many of us think, because of the experiences that we've had in our lifetime, that we have a right to be angry. But the truth is, when Yeshua gave himself for us, the word says he cast our sin to the bottom of the ocean, that it should be as if it never existed in the first place. Therefore, it's not just enough to confront anger, bitterness, resentment. We have to utterly cast it as far away from us as the east is from the west, because that's what God does with our sin.